And we are live on the 24th of November, 2025. Day or whatever on the hopefully short reign of dictator Trump. All right. And let me also share. I am live. I am just putting up some postings, Facebook, and then your God is real. Hello, Turn. I am just getting started. And Yuppie, hello. I am just getting started. Oh, apparently I can't do that. All right, no worries. Hello, folks. Tariq 90 and Buddy C and everyone else who is just driving on by. Everybody is doing okay. I'm just publishing this out. I really do need to get better at, hey, Red, at being more consistent. So we'll work on that. Yeah, I guess we'll just put it over there. That should do it. Hey, Bible guy. Well, Yuppie, you know that your Bible commands you to actually convince me of why you believe, right? There is? Is there any God? Well, come on up and prove me that God exists. I mean, it's not hard, guys. It really, really isn't. I forgot to pull up that. All right. Yeah, I mean, your Bible does command you to defend your faith. So, are you going to defend your faith, or are you just going to let me, or are you just going to disappoint God? Well, Cannibal Slayer, why don't you try and disabuse us of those nations? Right? So, Stephen Jennings, you are basically denying your God? I think it's 3:15. Oh. Come on, guys. Hey, LOL. Nope. We'll just shorten it to nope. Jesus. That's the name of my Jeep, actually, because it's a yellow Jeep. Oh, I had the wrong Peter. It's 1 Peter 3:15, not 2. But sanctify Christ as Lord in your hearts, always being ready to make a defense to me, who asks you to give an account for your hope that is in you, yet with gentleness and reverence. Some of you folks, so. Oh, I don't really care. I mean, yeah, here, watch this. We'll change that. And then there you go. Now I made it inclusive. Our first guest is Gogo. Are you over 18?
Yes.
Fantastic. And what do you want to talk about today?
God is real.
Prove it.
There's the tomb.
The tomb? Which one? There's like 3 or 4 in Jerusalem alone.
Yeah, Jerusalem. It's the garden. The garden.
The
In
Garden of
Jerusalem.
what? Eden? The Garden of
No,
Jerusalem? Garden of what?
no. It's a tomb that they in Jerusalem called the garden.
How do you know that's the right one?
It's good enough.
It's what?
It's enough for
It's good
him.
enough. It's good enough for you.
It's enough for Jesus.
It's good enough for Jesus? How do you know that?
It's small enough.
It's small enough. What does size have to do with whether or not Jesus was
They
ever in it?
they said that Jesus had hair like wool, right? Right?
I have no idea.
And what has wool? Sheep. So sheep, and when you have sheep, when you're herding the sheep, where do you keep the sheep? Like, where do you keep it? Like, when you're herding, where do you keep it?
Yeah,
A garden. A garden.
Oh boy.
A garden.
Are you serious? Are you sure you're not a troll? Because I think you're a troll. That has got to be the worst evidence ever presented. Go back and learn something before you come back, and I'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you so much. All right. Envy, you're up next. Are you over 18?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Not
Yes,
too bad.
I
Are
am.
you
I'm
over 18?
21.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
What do you want to talk about?
So why do you believe that there's no God? Can you explain exactly why you believe there's no God?
Yeah, so I make 2 arguments against the existence of a God. And the first one is simply the argument against evil, or the problem of evil. If God is the omnipotent, omniscient, omnimoral God, and evil exists, that logically just can't happen. So that God is excluded just by common logic. The second argument that I make is an abductive argument that since 2,000 years ago, we had all kinds of phenomena that were explained by supernatural causes. Today in 2025, we don't have any. Science has come up with natural explanations for every phenomenon that we know of. And so I just have no reason to believe in the supernatural. Since God is supernatural, God can't exist.
Okay. Have you heard of the Quran? Have you ever heard like the Muslims people beliefs, or have you ever like read?
So my 2 arguments are against any, because remember, I have eliminated the supernatural as a possible explanation, and the supernatural is existing. So it doesn't matter if it's a Christian God, the Islamic God. It doesn't matter if you have a whole pantheon of God. All of them, by my 2 arguments, are eliminated as possibly existing.
Okay, so to go back to your first question, when you said that why is there evil in the world if God exists?
No, I didn't ask why there is evil in the world. I didn't ask the question at all, because the problem of evil doesn't ask the question of why there's evil. But I know where you're going, and you're going with free will, and free will doesn't get you out of this. So, for
No,
instance,
I'm not going free will, but I was gonna say that the reason there's evil in this world, it's not we're not in this world to enjoy and have fun. I mean, you could have fun, I'm not saying you can't, but at the same time, God sent us down to this earth for us to be tested, because
that sounds like a really shit thing to do.
You know how Adam,
God is omniscient, right? God is omniscient,
Yeah, but,
so why does he need to test anything?
Because, okay, so for an example, you know how Adam ate the tree on the apple? Do you know about that or no?
It was actually Eve who ate the apple first, and then had Adam eat it. So you don't even know know Genesis well enough to argue it.
I'm not Christian. So.
Then why are you making a Christian argument?
No, this is a Muslim argument too, by the way, because we believe in Adam.
Eve first, then Adam. But anyway,
okay,
so that's the story. How do you know that Adam and Eve actually existed?
What do you mean? How do you know? Because the Quran came 2000. The Quran came a
No,
long
I don't
time
care.
ago.
The Quran is the claim. I'm looking for the evidence.
No, no, I know, but the Quran is the evidence. I mean, you have anything
No,
like.
it's the
Hold on.
claim. You can't say I know when I say Quran is the claim and not the evidence, and then go I know, because apparently you don't know. So the Quran is
I
the
do
claim, not
know.
the evidence.
No, no, no. Hold on. So the Quran is the one where you get evidence that you need from. Like, let's say
No,
you
no,
want to
no,
say,
no, no,
hold on,
no.
hold
That's
on.
circular. The Quran is
Okay,
true
can I
because the
finish?
Quran says it's true. That's a circular argument. Can't
No,
do
no, no.
that. Try it
There is.
again.
Once again. If you need evidence for God exists, the Quran is there. This is why, because okay, when a book
No,
comes
it's
2,000 years, hold
circular.
on.
It's no, I don't have to hold on.
I
You're
want.
making a
Can I just
circular
finish?
argument. God exists because the Quran says so, because the Quran is written by God. No,
No,
it's a
there's
circular
proof. There is
argument.
proof.
It's not
There's
going
proof,
to win.
brother.
I
There's
reject your
proof.
circular argument. Try again.
Once again, I have proof, and the Quran is a proof that God
No,
actually exists.
I
Can I?
reject
Can I?
that because it's circular. Try again.
Okay. Can I finish? Can I just like finish, and then you can, you know?
Because you're preaching.
I'm not preaching. If I was
Yeah,
preaching, I'll tell you about
look,
God and tell you about this.
I will summarize your argument for you. God
Okay.
exists because the Quran exists because the Quran was written by God. It's circular.
Okay. So, you see how I let you talk? Can I finish now? Can I talk? Or
Go ahead.
okay. Once again, I'm gonna repeat myself like I repeated 1,000 times. God, if you want evidence for God, right, for an existence of God, the Quran has many proofs of existence of God. Okay, the book that came 2,000 years ago, how would it know? Like, for example, how would it know the future? Like, let's say, like,
It
this
doesn't.
book was set. Yeah. What do you mean it doesn't? Have you read it?
Because every time I talk to a Muslim and they say, "Oh, the book talks about quantum physics," it's a post hoc rationalization. It's rationalization after the fact.
But
So
have you read it?
no,
Have you read it?
no, I don't have to read it. I can just listen to you Muslims argue it.
No, 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 no. Have you read it? My question was,
No,
have you
I
read it?
keep
You
answering
didn't read it,
no.
right?
I just listen
So,
to how
okay,
you guys
okay,
argue it. So if you
okay.
listen
So,
to me,
okay.
you'll know I said no.
Okay, so you said you haven't read it. So how would you know
I
something if you
answered
haven't
that
read it?
already, Envy. You're not listening to me. Please listen very carefully. I'm going to say that my answer again. No, I haven't read it. I listen to you Muslims argue the Quran.
Okay, so you listen to someone, let's say someone's not educated very well, right? For an example.
Well, that's
Let's say
most of
someone's not
you.
very
So
educated. Hold on. It's not most of us. We're mostly of us are educated. But let's say someone's not educated and you were talking to like a young kid
you're
or a
making
young guy that
assumptions
doesn't know
based on facts, not in
hold on.
evidence.
I'm not saying that you did. I'm giving you an example. Okay? So if a young kid that really not that educated about this and you go talk to him and you ask him a question, how is that fair for, how is that fair? He
I
doesn't know
didn't do
anything.
that. So,
I'm not saying you did. I'm giving you an
well,
example.
so what's your point?
My point is that you saying that the Quran is not, there's no proof that God exists. Okay? And I'm telling you there is, because in the Quran it
And
shows
you're
it
not,
and it
and
proves
you
it
still
from
haven't
2,000
listened
years
to
ago.
me. You
I've
still
listened
haven't
to you multiple
listened
times, but
that
you wouldn't let me
it is a
finish. Okay.
circular argument. You know
Okay.
God exists because the Quran says so, because God wrote the Quran. That is circular. Around and around we go. That
Okay.
argument doesn't hunt, doesn't fly.
Okay.
It's bad.
So okay. So can
It's
I
an
can I
error in
bring you?
logic, which is a shame because
Okay.
Muslims did a lot to improve logic and philosophy. It's just too bad modern Muslims don't keep on that tradition. But you're making a circular argument. Do you have anything better than your circular argument?
Okay. Can I bring evidence? Can I show you evidence?
Outside of the Quran, yes.
Or no, inside the Quran, not
I don't
outside.
care about the Quran.
From the Quran.
You haven't given
Well,
me any
'cause I'm
reason to care what
yes,
your
because
holy book
I'm trying to
says.
prove to you God is real. I'm gonna try to prove you God is real. Even science, even science proves that
No, it doesn't.
Islam is the true religion and God is real.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
What?
It does not.
Okay. Can I show you? Can I show you? Can I show you? Or is that cool? Can I show you?
As long as it's not
Or we're gonna.
post hoc rationalization, sure.
Okay. So it's all right. I'm gonna show you. 1 second.
Do, 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 do. Come on, hurry up. Okay, I think he has gone away. We've been talking for 8 minutes. Sir B, keep your kings to yourself. All right, Envy. I'm going to give you until the. Wow, he left. I am shocked he left. All right. Sir B, you are up next.
Hello.
Hey, are you over 18?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about the leader of the atheist party in 1969.
The what?
I know that the woman, she was the leader of the atheist party in 1969.
There has been no atheist party. Not a political party. I believe you're talking about American Atheists, an atheist
Oh, yes, that
organization, which is
association.
not a party.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to say that, yeah.
Are you sure you're over 18?
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay. What do you want? Why do you want to talk about Madeline O'Hara?
I just want to know your thoughts about your fellow atheists.
Some of them are good folks, some of them are bad folk. It's a mixed bag.
How do you feel about Scientology?
Scientology, it's actually worse than. I think it's probably the worst religion out there in terms
I
of the
don't even
harm it
think it's
causes.
religion. I think it's a
So,
cult.
yeah. So, do you have an argument to make, or what are we going to talk about
No,
here?
not really. I just want to agree with you because I'm
You
a
just
fellow
want to agree
atheist.
with me. All right. Well,
Yeah.
you know what, Serby? I don't think you're over 18, and I don't
trust
know
me.
what you're talking about or what your point's going to be. So you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Maybe not. All right. Well, that was fun. Do be over 18, and do something better than what do you think about fellow atheists, or then go back to Madeline Murray O'Hare. I'm sorry. Hey, Desi, thank you so much. Fan, I was born in 68. I am old. I am really, really old. And you guys go over, not now, continue to listen to me, but at some point, Skeptic Haven had myself and Aaron Lewis on, and she had some great things to say. We talked about sex work and all kinds of different stuff, critical thinking. And it was a conversation between us. It was a call-in show. We just only had one caller who, so that was it. So, well, good. Sartuga, I'm actually trying to figure out how to get to broadcast to YouTube and TikTok, kind of like Deconstruction Zone and Dr. Blitz and the Bible Guy all do. So hopefully that will happen soon. Hey, Jonathan. Christians, come on up. Remember, your Bible requires you to do that. So it does say that always being ready to make a defense to myself, who asks you to give an account for the hope that is in you, yet with gentleness and reverence. So, yeah. I do have a YouTube channel. It's not as active as it should be. So, hello, Connor. Are you over 18?
Hello there. Yes.
Fantastic. What do you want to talk about today?
So your claim here. So when you say there are no gods, are you specifically refuting like the classical theist or Abrahamic conception?
Yes, all of them.
So what do you think of something like Spinoza's God?
I think that Spinoza's God doesn't fit the usual usage of the word God, because it's just the universe as it is. But I mean, if you're just going to say if you're going to play that antics with semantics game and say it's just the universe as it is, and the universe has no will, no desire, and doesn't care what humans do, then okay, then why don't we just call it the universe and be done with it?
Well, that I mean, if the essential qualification of being a god is a creator, I could argue that the natural laws and the laws of physics and such of the universe are the reason why I am existing and having subjective experiences. So that could be my God. And those
Well,
are empirically verifiable facts about our
right.
universe.
And my response to that is, why don't we just call it a universe? Why do we have to call it God? We have a perfectly good word to describe that. We don't
Well,
need to
but
use the word
it's
God.
not just the universe, of course, because the universe and everything within it is a product of that creative force.
Okay. Does it rule the universe? And is it the source of all moral authority? Because those
Oh,
are the
of
other
course it could be.
qualifications for it to be
The
a God under
yeah,
Christianity.
these laws are omnipresent. Especially if you follow like normative moral realism of that of like Eric Weilenberg, one of my favorites, who was not a theist himself, argues that they're
So
a
I'm still
non-physical
stuck with,
fact.
why don't we just call it the universe or the cosmos? Why do we have to call it God? Because it
Well,
sounds like you're
because
playing antics with semantics to get your God in.
it's not the universe. It's the cause of the universe itself.
Is that natural forces, or are you claiming it's some sort of superhuman being or spirit?
It's claiming it's the natural forces.
Okay. So again, why don't we just call it the cosmos, which is what Neil deGrasse Tyson uses to refer to everything outside of the universe, and I kind of like that designation. So why do we
Mhm.
again? Why do we call it God?
Because it is not the universe, it is the
Well, no,
forces.
the word cosmos and the way that Neil deGrasse Tyson uses it and the way I'm using it here is everything the universe and everything outside of the universe, whatever that may or may not be.
Well, what is outside of the universe?
Well, again, that's why you define cosmos as
Mhm.
whatever is outside of the universe, whatever that may or may not be, right? It covers everything.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think it's a better definition and a better usage of the word cosmos.
if that is how you define it, I mean, from my understanding, the cosmos is just the universe as a whole.
Well, right.
Etymologically, that's what it is.
Yeah, I agree with that, right? And that's why I'm saying it's Neil deGrasse Tyson's and my usage of the word, right? I'm not saying it's a common usage of the
Well,
word. I am saying I'd like it to be a common usage of the word.
yeah,
But
you,
yeah,
I could, I could use the same principle for my uh, conceptualization of what God means as well.
right. But
So,
so my problem with doing it that way is that you start getting confused with Christians because when you say God, we have this idea of some sort of ruler of the universe, spirit, something that has a will that must be obeyed or should be obeyed, that kind of thing.
mhm.
So I mean, if we're going to bend a word, let's bend one that doesn't come with baggage. But
Well,
yeah,
it's I wouldn't say it necessarily makes you sound like a Christian. I mean, once I explain it, it certainly doesn't. And these
right.
these these laws are certainly occurred. They're everywhere.
Hmm.
There's everything is bound by them. Um,
Yeah.
they're not reductible to like you can't touch them, of course,
Hmm.
but we still know they are objectively real.
Oh yeah, without a
Um,
doubt. Right. And yeah, I mean, we're basically agreeing. We're just kind of quibbling over the usage of the word God to describe
mhm,
it. And honestly, if you keep wanting to explain yourself, and keep on, I'm not saying you shouldn't use the word God. I'm just explaining my issue with the word, right? Because use it however you want. That's what words are for. But
of
yeah,
course.
so
Hmm. So, what are your thoughts on what would you say, moral realism, moral relativism, or just something in between?
uh, I think morals are labels we put on actions.
Hmm.
And the reason that I say that is things like when we've done people have done experiments with rats where when a rat gets a reward, it also causes harm to another rat. And when the rats figure that
Hmm.
out, they stop taking the reward. And even if they don't know the rat involved, they will not take a reward to harm another rat. And we know that humans will harm other humans just because another human in authority says to do so.
Is it
And so if we take the rat and the human out of it, what we have are two actions that we put labels to. One is good,
is
one
it
is bad.
is it possible that moral truths are objectively true, but they are irreducible to physical facts, and within our scope of the universe, humans are the only ones who have the capacity to comprehend that fact?
Um, well, you say possible, right? Anything is possible. So I don't care about what's possible. I care about what's probable. Um, because is it possible? Yes, but I don't care. I don't care if it's possible.
Hmm.
But my issue is that cooperation is a survival strategy. So if you want to say morals are objective, they would have to be embedded in the DNA, which would also explain why we see such a variety of morals within a species, right? Because every social species has many of the same rules that we have for good behavior, for cooperation among the pack or the herd or whatever else you have.
Hmm.
So if you're going to say that, we would have to limit it to DNA, which I think in many ways, because of the variety of behavior we see, um,
Hmm.
it
Or
is,
would you
you know,
say,
yeah, go ahead.
or would you say it's probable that we know what these could be, but we're not certain if it's what we ought to do, that we don't have to follow them in the way we would, let's say, like physical constants?
Yeah, there's no ought to morals because, like I said, they're a label on behavior. So if you want to say that behavior is something we ought to do, um, I mean, we behave, so we do
Hmm.
things, right?
Hmm. So could these be contributing to our like intrinsic reason that we have on why like these, let's say these are facts for the sake of this argument, if they're like
Hmm.
objective, irreducible, non-physical facts that humans have the capacity to comprehend,
Hmm.
it is it probable that it is directly tied to just our intrinsic reason that we have, and that's possibly why we
Well, we run
should
into
follow them?
science again. So we have this concept as humans that we are rational creatures. And if you've ever read Freakonomics, you would know we're not. And Freakonomics is the uh, for the masses of the economic theories that it is based on, that the author based it on. I forget who the authors
Hmm.
are. And then we can also look at the science that has been done around humans and other animals that have had the emotional centers of their brains damaged or damaged a little bit, or just completely taken out of the picture for whatever reason. And all of a sudden, the ability to reason and to think becomes severely
Hmm.
impacted. Um, and so the fact that our best reasoning capabilities are tied to our emotions, I don't think we can claim that we are as rational as we would like to be. And that's
Hmm.
without getting into Hahnemann's work,
Hmm.
thinking fast and thinking slow.
Well, yeah, I've seen Freakonomics before. I think I've read parts of it.
Hmm.
But I should probably read the whole thing. It seems like it's critically acclaimed.
It is, and I think the author won a Nobel Prize, but I don't know for sure. You'd
Hmm.
have to check that for
Hmm.
that work. But just keep in mind that that's the pop sci version of what the work the author actually did.
Hmm.
So that is an actual economist trying to explain what's going
Hmm.
on. But it
I think.
challenges, I mean, economics for so long time assumed a rational actor was acting.
Mhm.
And it just doesn't appear to me to be true.
Yeah, I would. Well, that kind of ties into what is rationality? Like, can physical immutable things be bound by rationality? Um,
Well, if they're
like,
immutable, then they can't change. And if rationality says that you must change, then no.
but does rationality change?
Well, it has to change on circumstances, right?
Well, it may incite you to change, but the concept of rationality, does that change?
So I think again, we're going to quibble on details here. If you're being rational, you are taking as many factors as possible under consideration, and
Hmm.
those factors will change over time. And if you're immutable, then you can't change with it. And I guess my quibble is with the word immutable, right? We may be
Hmm.
using it in slightly different ways.
Well, yeah, I would say rationality is just you are using information, and then if you are a conscious agent that is subject to rationality, you are trying to be in accordance with, reasoning and logical
Mhm.
lines of thinking.
Yeah.
So in order for something to be rational, in order to know what you need to change, it has to be based on something. So can the fundamental principle, like, of what causes something to be in accordance with reason and logic, is that immutable?
I don't know. Um, I mean, we talk philosophy about it all the time, but I want to apply it to humans today. Um, and in thinking fast and thinking slow, um, his thing is Daniel Hahnemann. Should really have some of the stuff up in front of me. Anyway, he proposes that there are two models of the brain. Now, these are just ways to think about how our brains work. Um,
Hmm.
and so model one is the pattern matcher. It's the thinking fast part. Model two is the slower thinking part that we do our reasoning in. And what he says is that when you say 1 + 1 = 2, you're not doing the math. You're doing a
Hmm.
pattern match it to two, right? But if I say, what's the square root of 3,200,001, now you got to do the math, so
Hmm.
to speak, right? And so rationality, our rational parts of our brain, uh, take a lot more calories to use, and it's using the same brain. It's using the same principles of neural nets and things like that.
Hmm.
So it's trying to pattern match based off of a deeper thought process or a deeper pattern match than is at the surface, so to speak.
Hmm. I would
So
say, oh,
yeah, go ahead.
you're going. I would say, rather than pattern, I would say it's just directly tied to memory. So, like, even for more complex things, like let's say a unit conversion, someone asked me how many seconds are in a year. Well, I already know what that is. It's 3.15 times 10 to the seventh power.
Right.
But that's just because I have that memory. It's not rather
No.
I'm not thinking about the
Yes.
computation. It's
So our,
just,
our memories are stored in a neural net, and it is a
mm,
pattern match. Because that's how
yeah,
that's how neural networks work at their functionality, and that's why we see human-like memory issues with the current crop of generative AI,
mm,
because they mimic neural networks. But yeah,
wow,
it's
I didn't
still a
know that.
pattern match. Yeah, it's funny to watch all these people try and get AI to do stuff, and it's like all it's doing is pattern matching. Um,
Hmm.
and if you do like RAG and do some of the other more fancy stuff, it doesn't get you to the point where the AI understands what a hand is that it
Hmm.
and puts six fingers on a hand in an image or does any of the other hallucinatory stuff it does.
Hmm.
Because we do the same thing, right? If
Of
we
course,
look
yeah.
at something, we'll see sometimes six fingers on a hand, even though there's only five, but we know better, right?
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think there's a difference, and this is the fun part about philosophy. There's a difference between the ideal, which we can talk about in philosophy, and then how does it actually work when the rubber meets the road, so to speak.
Hmm.
And I'm much more a rubber meets the road kind of guy, although I do like faffing about with ideals like
Of course.
like you were talking about with rationality.
Hmm. Yeah, it's certainly fascinating because I just think we really need to understand the limits of what we can know,
Mm-hmm.
especially in our current time. But that's the beauty of just the logical arguments as opposed to basing them off of empirically tested evidence and such.
Right, and then
But of
but
course
then
you
that's we're talking about the difference between theoretical physics and practical
mhm,
physics, right?
of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was a good discussion. I appreciate you.
Yeah, fantastic. Come back up anytime, Connor.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you. Bye. All righty, folks. There is room to talk. And yeah, we can talk about, who cares what your holy. Whoa, I didn't quite get that. Let me actually get the who cares what your holy book says image down right. I changed it in the middle of doing all this because someone complained that the Quran wasn't up there, but, life goes on. Second CCs, what does my eyebrows and hairline have to do with anything? Or are you just being an obnoxious little twat? There we go. Now we can see it. Yeah, Huck, why don't you come on up and have a conversation? Conversations are great. Text takes so long, it's faster to talk. And I say this as someone who's been texting since the 90s. Oh, wait. Huck, are you arguing that the shot of Turin is a fake? If you are correct. There has been third-party authentication, Jaden. There have been, I think, 3 sets of tests. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Oh, Hawk thinks it's real. Yeah. No, it's not real. I mean, it exists, but it's not that of Jesus. It's not the shroud of Jesus by any stretch of the imagination. No. So if we steel man the shroud of Turin, what we have is an unexplained phenomenon. You can't go if you say, well, we can't explain it, therefore God. That is an argument from ignorance, and that's not going to fly. When is my upcoming appearance on the line? It's bad that I don't know these things, isn't it? That's the problem with. Is it upcoming? I don't have one, I don't think. I should probably talk to the folks over at the line and see if I can get back on. The diaper of Bethlehem. Did they use diapers? I would imagine they use swaddling of some kind. Yeah, it's not in my calendar. It doesn't exist either. If it's not on my to-do list, I will probably forget it. Okay, Greg, why? Why do you choose Jesus? What makes Jesus real? That's the question of the day. Can you prove that your God is real? And for you Christians, remember, 1 Peter 3:15 says, but sanctify Christ as Lord in your hearts, always being ready to make a defense to everyone who asks you to give an account for the hope that is in you, yet with gentleness and reverence. So I summon a Christian with that bit. Titan, unicorns love you too. They're just a bit pointed about it. Why don't you come on up and prove that? I'd love to see if you can prove God exists. Still waiting. T Mars, I don't know who that is. Executionist. Why go to church for dessert? You really want to be told that you're broken and in need of fixing rather than just a human who's doing the best they can? Efficient in the head. He's also really efficient in the head. What does efficient in the head even mean? That's bonkers, guys. So come on up. Let's go ahead and have a conversation. But there's a book, yeah. Nur, if you want to come on up and talk about why I don't think there is a God, we can do that. I'm not going to, well, I may answer a question in chat. But it's, I make two arguments against God. The first one is that the problem of evil, that argument makes God logically impossible. And then I make a abductive argument that basically because over the last 2,000 years, we've replaced every supernatural explanation for a phenomenon with a natural explanation for a phenomena. We have no reason to conclude that the supernatural exists, therefore, we have no reason to conclude that God exists. Oh, is the W? Oh, okay, I will move it over. Is that better? The tomb is empty. So, first of all, Greg, how do you know there was a tomb? Hello, is it Beanat or Benat?
It's whatever. You just call me Bean if you like.
Okay, Bean. Are you over 18? And what do you want to talk about?
Yes, sir. I'm over 18.
Okay.
So what do you say about the contingency argument?
Yeah. I'm God. Prove I'm not.
You're God?
Pardon?
You said you're God?
Yeah, that's my response. It's a reductio ad absurdum argument.
You're a human. Human can't be God.
Prove it.
What do you mean, prove it?
Yeah, this is the problem with the contingency argument, right? You just don't have any evidence that first of all, you have no evidence that there are dependent and non-dependent beings. It's just stuff. It's just ridiculous.
There's no
But if
evidence.
you want to try and run it, you can.
Hold on. Sorry. I can definitely prove you're not God. You're a limited human being.
Prove it.
Are you human?
Prove what I am.
Are you a
I'm
human?
a necessary being. Prove that I'm not.
Do you have a parent? Do you have parents?
I'm a necessary being.
Are you on this earth? Are you on my phone?
I'm a necessary being. I can be anywhere I want. I'm omnipotent,
this
omniscient, and omnibenevolent.
Listen, this argument only follows if the person you're doing it against is Christian. All right, I'm a Muslim. I don't believe God can. I don't believe God has the power to be among earth, like to be on earth, right?
Oh, you're just wrong because apparently I am. I'm a necessary being, and I'm talking to you using earthly means. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, that means you're not God. That's exactly what it tells me. I'm telling you, your argument.
No, you poor deluded boy. That is not what that tells you at all. Because you're just wrong. I'm omnipotent. I can be anywhere and do anything.
Well, no, you can't because you can't do
anything.
anything.
Then I'm not omnipotent?
Impossible. Yeah, I put non-arbitrary limits on God.
It's not logically impossible for me to be talking to you.
It is because it poses.
Doesn't God talk to everybody? Doesn't God talk to everybody?
That's not what the contradiction. Listen, one second. The contradiction follows is that you are a human being and God at the same time, which poses.
No. I have never said I never said I was a human being. I said I'm a necessary being.
Well, you don't have to be. Again, that's why this is exactly why the argument doesn't follow unless the person you're saying to is
a necessary being. But you see my point about your necessary and non-necessary BS, right?
No, I
You
don't,
can't
because
prove I'm not
again, it doesn't
necessary.
follow. Yes, again, yes, I can, because for you to be necessary, you can't be a human. It does not logically follow. It poses a contradiction. Therefore, you're just
I
doing a
never
non
said I
sequitur.
was human.
You don't have to. I
Uh,
can see with my eyes, with my senses. You are a human
oh,
being,
those are
and a human
you're
being
being
cannot be
deceived.
God.
I'm just creating
Huh?
images. I'm just creating images. You're being
Okay.
deceived.
So, are you God?
Yes, I'm a
Okay.
necessary
Are
being.
you okay? Perfect. Are you human at the same time?
I'm using a human meat suit.
Okay, perfect. So you're manifesting into a human. Therefore, you pose the essential attributes of a human, of human and as well as God, which are both
Yes.
contradictory. It's a P and
No,
not
they're not.
P. One
No,
second.
they're not.
One second. One second. Is all knowing and
No,
know.
I am
Hold
a
on.
necessary being, and I'm necessary in all my forms.
1 second. Is being all knowing and not all knowing, are those contradictions?
Yes, those are contradictions.
Okay, awesome. So you just told me you're God manifested in human flesh. Therefore, you
Yes,
take on the attributes, the essential attributes of a human, and as well as your a divine nature.
yes.
Therefore, you are literally a walking contradiction, which makes you a
No,
logical.
because
One
though it's a
second.
false dichotomy. You're making a
No,
false
it's not.
dichotomy. Yeah. You're saying the
Wait,
two
tell me how
things
it's a false
can't exist.
dichotomy.
And keep in mind, what we're really arguing about here is the fact that
I
your
said
argument,
contradictions.
that the argument from contingency is ridiculous. Because all you have are unqualified statements, and you can't even prove that it's a logical contradiction except by saying it is.
Yeah, I can't. It's a what's a contradiction?
A contradiction is saying that P and not P. And I'm saying, and we're
Awesome.
talking
So
about a
is
being, a necessary being, right?
yeah.
And
So
so that's
you're
I can be
necessary and
necessary in any
contingent at the
form.
same time,
If it's
which makes it
possible
a
for me
P,
to
not
exist as a human in one world, it's possible that I have to exist in all worlds, right? I mean, all I'm doing
what?
is just mocking the
No,
argument.
again, you
Do you
don't have.
understand I'm mocking the argument, right?
Well, yeah, you're mocking it using a even worse argument. Your argument doesn't follow. Again, like I told you, it's a non sequitur. You are not necessary. You do
Prove
in
it.
every possible world. You do not exist.
Prove it. Demonstrate that I don't
Prove
exist
you're
in
not a
every
necessary
possible
being.
world.
Well, okay. According to the actual contingency argument, the necessary being, all life comes from it. If I can
Yes.
prove that you didn't exist, let's say I don't know how old you are, probably like 40. 40 years ago, where you didn't exist, you cannot be the necessary being.
Sure, I can.
How what?
Of course I
Dude,
can.
I don't
Just
think you
because my
understand
body dies
your
doesn't
own
mean I
argument.
die. I mean, souls don't die, do they? So we have an
Well, souls
example of
aren't
a
soul.
spirit being, a soul inhabiting a body.
1 second.
Again,
1
I'm
second.
making
Souls
ridiculous
aren't free.
arguments. Look, I am deliberately making ridiculous arguments to demonstrate the ridiculousness of your argument, because
Again,
you
but you're
can't
not proving
prove that
anything.
you can't prove that the set of necessary beings is not empty, or is more, or is only
Listen,
one. You can't do that. That's the
because
problem with the argument.
you don't understand the argument in itself. You just assume your entire argument's based on presupposition. You just assume that a soul is
And you're presuming that necessary
eternal.
beings exist.
Well, a necessary being has to exist unless you have to grant that the universe is an infinite regress, which is every single
No, I don't have to
philosopher.
admit that at all. In fact,
Yeah, you
no.
absolutely do.
So
If there's no
here's the
necessary being,
problem
that
with
means
that.
everything is contingent.
No. So
That's exactly what follows. What?
no.
What are you
So
talking about?
if we look at science and what science says about the Big Bang, right?
Uh-huh.
And
There's
energy
a
can't be
cause.
created or destroyed,
Uh-huh.
right?
No,
Energy
but also
is the
nothing.
necessary
Something
thing,
can't
but
come out
it's
of
not a
nothing, right?
being. Energy is
Sorry?
necessary, beings are not. And energy exists in all possible universes.
Okay. How does this? What happens now? What do you talk? You just told me that
You
it's
just
not.
said there's a necessary being, and I'm saying that your
Yeah, and you just
necessary
said
thing
you
isn't
said
a
how do you know
being, it's
there's
energy.
so everything comes from that specific being.
No, energy is not a being. It's
Then
an
it's
actual
not
force.
necessary.
Yes, it is.
Necessary means everything comes from that
Yes, the entire universe
whatever
comes
it
from
is.
energy. E equals mc squared.
MC squared. What are you talking? What?
E equals mc squared. Energy and mass are the same at the square of the speed of light. All matter comes from energy. Don't you know that? Haven't you studied the Big Bang? Don't you know basic science?
The Big Bang. One second. I know basic science, but the Big Bang in itself literally proves that something cannot come out of nothing. Right. So
The Big
something
Bang
has to be
so
there,
no,
which
no, no,
entails-
hold on. The Big Bang does not claim that something comes from nothing. Man never makes that claim.
It doesn't. That's implied. You can't bring me a single scientist that says something can come out of nothing.
No, again, we're in the theory of the Big Bang. Do you get that
theory of the
anybody
Big
thinks
Bang
that
says
there
there
was
was a cause.
nothing before the Big Bang?
There was a cause.
Yes,
I didn't say
there was a
nothing before the Big
cause,
Bang.
and that
Okay,
causes
awesome.
energy. That causes
Awesome. So
energy.
the cause. Oh, where's the energy come from?
Energy can't be created or destroyed. What part of science
Okay,
do you
but-
not understand?
Again, where does it come from?
It can't be created or destroyed. If it can't be created, it
I
doesn't come from
understand-
anywhere.
I
It always
understand- I don't think
exists.
you're understanding my question. Where is it coming from?
Nowhere. It always. No,
So
I
there
don't
is-
have a God.
Okay, so
I don't have
so-
God. I refuse. And even if you're to prove your God was real, I wouldn't worship it. So, I
That's
think
fine. You don't
worshiping.
have to.
I think worshiping any being for any reason is stupid.
That's fine.
So
That's fine. But you just told me earlier.
energy
you
is
told me
the
there's-
necessary condition for the universe to exist.
Jesus is Lord doesn't even rhyme. What the hell is this guy talking
Oh
about?
no, it's okay. I'm bored. Jesus is Lord. It rhymes. See you next time.
Okay, I'm
Learn to
bored.
read.
Jesus. Oh, okay. Sorry. Anyways, you told
Energy
me earlier
can't be
that
created or destroyed. That is your necessary condition for the universe. And energy
one
exists in
second.
all possible universes.
One second. You told me earlier that there is no necessary being, but now you're changing it. There is something that's necessary, right?
There's no necessary being. There is. If you want to get into contingency and things that are necessary and not, then I'm going to refute your necessary being and just say it's energy. Right? You need to prove that it's a being,
I mean,
right?
that's
Because
fine.
you can't eliminate
But
energy.
Again, you're conceding something that's necessary. Therefore, it entails it's God.
No, I'm not
If you wanna
conceding
say energy
anything.
is
I'm
God,
saying that
that's fine.
I'm saying that for the sake of the argument, if I accept that anything is necessary, then it's energy.
Anything is necessary. Again, what was my response to that?
It's
I
a
said, if you
necessary
wanna-
being, and I'm saying prove it's a being and not energy.
Well, you can. If energy is your God, that's fine.
No,
I'm
no,
saying.
no, no. Energy is not a god.
If
Energy
you-
is a
if
natural.
you-
Is
listen,
natural.
The entire argument, if you concede anything necessary, that is God. It entails it's God.
No, no.
Yes, it
now
does.
you're playing antics with semantics.
Only thing that's necessary.
Energy doesn't have a will. Energy doesn't care who we screw. Energy does not want us to do things. Energy just exists. It doesn't fit any of the characteristics of the God in the normal usage of the word God.
All right.
All right. So prove it's a being and not something natural, whether it's necessary or not, because that's what I'm going to keep going back to. I can mock it and prove it's ridiculous, or we just talk about whether or not there's a being. And if you're going to claim there's a being and that's God, then you need to prove those two things. And the contingency argument begs the question of whether, well, it's not really begging the question, but it raises the question of is necessary things include beings? And I don't think it has to. And that's what you need to do with it. That's the problem with most of these. This is the problem with like tag and cosmological arguments is they all assume God and not natural sources. And you need to prove that it's not a natural source.
All right.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, Bang. Talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye. This is someone whose name I can't pronounce because I do not read the language. Oh, never mind. They left. Titan unicorns love you. They love you a long time. Anybody else want to try an argument? Come on. Yeah, Jesus was nailed to a cross, not a boomerang. How did he come back? Oh, okay. That message was not to me. Cool. So anyway, Come on up, try your best. Let's hear another argument for God. Or just try to convince me that I care what your holy book says, which would require you to prove that your God exists, but that's a whole different thing. So Sober, I don't know if you're here for the previous conversation I had about Spinoza's God. Spinoza's God doesn't fit the normal usage of the word God. And so I think you're borrowing a bunch of baggage when you say that the universe is God that you don't necessarily need. I've heard Neil deGrasse Tyson say on some occasions that the word cosmos means, to him anyway, that it's everything that the universe and everything outside of the universe that may or may not be outside of the universe. And I would prefer those two words and change kind of the definition of cosmos rather than change the word God, just because of the baggage that comes with God. Thanks, Silver. I appreciate it. Fern, I saw you had wanted to come up. I didn't know, or Fen, I'm sorry. I don't know where I got the R in your name. I don't know if you still want to come up or not, but you're more than welcome to. Well, because heaven doesn't exist in this reality either, in this universe. Heaven doesn't exist. Supernatural doesn't exist. On TBBT, I don't know what TBBT is. I'm sorry. Oh, Titan, prove it? I tell you what, if you come up, I will prove it again. I will give you my argument against the supernatural. If you come up and talk about it. How's that? Yeah, heaven is a place on earth. I agree. Oh, Big Bang Theory. Oh, yeah, if you want to come up and talk about that, that's cool. I should have guessed. That would be a twist if the Mormons were right about everything. Hey, Fen. Hey, Fen. How are you doing?
Going. Oh, man, great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
You?
You know, it's what, Monday? And it has been a Monday so far.
Yeah, I hear you. So the stuff that kid was saying, I just wanted to kind of help him understand a bit more about the Big Bang Theory, because everything he said, I mean, it contains, the words he said contained internal evidence that everything he learned about the Big Bang Theory came from a pulpit and not in, like a science textbook. And that's a big mistake. So many theists like to conflate the Big Bang Theory with creation. They say that scientists say that the Big Bang Theory was creation. No scientist has ever made that claim. The only scientists that have ever...
In a scientific paper. They may have made that claim from a pulpit, but that's a different question.
Well, scientists, though, if they're saying that, I mean, if anybody's making that claim, they are not doing so in a scientific manner, because there's no evidence that indicates that. And so what they hear is scientists pointing out that the Big Bang Theory is basically the beginning of what we know to be the universe. But it's not necessarily a creation event. It's also not necessarily the actual beginning of the universe. It's just as far back as we can view. And nobody has ever made the claim in a scientific paper that the Big Bang Theory was a creation event, as in something from nothing. Nobody has ever said that. Instead, what scientists argue is that, or suggest, is that it was an expansion of that which already existed. So it was, we hear that it was in a hot, dense state. That was the universe in the beginning, a hot, dense state. But heat denotes a couple things. Heat alone disproves the notion of that being the beginning, like the start, like something from nothing. Because for there to be heat is essentially proof that at least the little bits are in motion. because that's what it is.
Right.
It's, molecules and atoms and subatomic particles in motion. That's what generates heat. So heat denotes motion. Motion denotes time. So there was already time. Okay. And it's just something that I hear a lot. And I don't know, it's just something that I feel whenever I hear atheists say the Big Bang Theory and the creation is one and the same.
Right.
I just compulsively want to correct them.
Yeah, and they forget the basic laws of thermodynamics, which are, my understanding, fairly fundamental to the non-quantum realm, right? Is that correct?
So,
and they may be at the quantum too.
What I
just know there's a difference between the quantum and non-quantum stuff.
Well, sort of. I mean, the big difference that I see going from quantum to Newtonian is that time and sequence of events becomes very, very different. So like on the quantum level, things don't really experience time. It's just the whole of the existence of a photon, for instance. It would be generated in the middle of the sun. It would then eventually, after like tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years in some cases, because photons, they can't really make it out because there's heavier particles above it, preventing it from escaping. And so it takes a very long time for it to get out of the sun. Then it eventually travels to the Earth, where it's refracted and stuff like that, and its energy is dispersed and absorbed and reflected. And eventually, it will be no more once it's been fully absorbed by striking different things. However, at that point, all of what I just discussed, it would be experienced because of the way time dilation occurs. All of it would occur in the same instant to them, and I feel like that in there is the answer to some extent of what an eternal regression would look like, because it's not like time just flows normally on the quantum level. It only flows that way on the Newtonian level. So on the quantum level, everything happens simultaneously. And what we see, I like to think of it almost like an 11-dimensional printer. The quantum is what's going on and what's like the probability of things as things are occurring given the state of everything. And the Newtonian is the printed result.
Right. So we have some folks who say that the Big Bang isn't real. And I would like, and this is something I got from a Frank Turek book. And in the defense of this, because I don't think he's too far off wrong, right? He's a layman talking to other laymen in his explanation of this. And he says, and he agrees that the Big Bang is real, which is shocking for Turek, I'm sure. But he uses the acronym SURGE, where S is the second law of thermodynamics, the U is the universe is expanding, R is the radiation from the Big Bang, specifically the cosmic microwave background radiation, CMR, great galaxy seeds, and Einstein's theory. Yeah, CMBR. And E is Einstein's theory of relativity. What do you think about that as proof that the Big Bang actually happened? Keeping in mind that this isn't a physicist talking, right?
Well, this is okay. So the Big Bang theory is actually far easier to prove. In fact, you can take photographic evidence of it. And that's actually something that indicates how good science is at discovering truth of reality. We understand photons so well that we can tell even what chemicals are burning in distant stars by measuring the wavelengths. Okay, we have such a keen understanding of light that it's helped us to understand what the Big Bang is, and that's what the CMBR is. We are measuring the most ancient light we can. And in doing so, you can literally take a picture of it. That's what the CMBR is. So you don't even need the full surge.
Right. You just,
because the CMBR is photographic evidence of the Big Bang. You can take a picture of it. Right. But there's also, even easier evidence. As soon as we discovered like how to make television and stuff like that, we were able to also pick up the CMBR. That's the static that we see on in between channels. That's just leftovers, remnants of the Big Bang. The Big Bang is like very much evident in a lot of other ways when we measure the progression of like the direction that heavenly bodies are heavenly stuff in space. Sorry,
Well,
I like saying heavenly bodies. It sounds so poetic, but we can
someone in
see
chat
the
just
direction they're
reminded
moving.
me. Someone in chat just reminded me of something because I'm old enough to remember this. You could also listen to it, or you could back in my day. You could just turn the TV to any channel that didn't have a broadcast on it, right, and pick it up.
Yes.
That's the
That's
the
what
static.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Like, we've been able to see this with our own eyes. We've been able to, we can take a picture of it. Anybody with an old school TV can witness the remnants of the Big Bang. It's just something that, it's very plainly evident.
Yeah, it's
There are more complicated ways that we can measure it as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's why it's one of the more solid things that science rests on. And you're talking about how science is so good at predicting things. Shoot, I forget which physicist I got this from, but he said this is what we spent billions of dollars or however much the super collider cost to prove. And he shows this graph, and it's got a little bump in it. And the graph looks like it was printed on dot matrix printer. It's not a very good print. And I was just sort of like, wait a minute. The math proved it. My understanding is the proverbial 18 ways from Sunday. And we still spent how much money to build the collider to prove that it exists?
Yeah, that's some not chump change, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I had someone say that, well, energy can't be created or destroyed inside this universe. And I don't know that that is actually true, right?
So that's thermodynamics, and they're right and wrong. So, okay, when they say energy cannot be created or destroyed, they're leaving out an important part, and that is in a closed or isolated system. Okay.
Right.
And when they're saying this, it gives away some other internal evidence. The fact that it's isolated, the fact that it is closed, just demonstrates that what they mean when energy cannot be created is by adding it from an external force.
Right.
So, but that's not creation. That's still not ex nihilo. So, yes, it is a fact. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So this is the syllogism I like to run. Nothing begets nothing, or nothing comes from nothing. That's premise one. Premise two is there is something. Okay, we see it. There is something. You could look at the trees and we have something. Conclusion, there was never nothing. Very simple 2-point syllogism, hits the nail on the head. And yeah, all that they're really left with at that point is special pleading. Nobody can create or destroy except my God. Nobody is eternal except my God. It's just a bunch of special pleading. Line them up, knock them down, man.
Have you seen Carrier's argument? It's a philosophical argument because he agrees that nothing doesn't exist. But he has an argument that something can come from nothing. It's a 10-point argument, and I don't want to necessarily read them all, although I suppose I could put them up on a screen somehow. I should look into doing that. But basically, it comes down to there is no logical reason why something can't come from nothing because there's nothing stopping it. It's basically what it comes down to. It's
Wait,
a lot.
Say that last thing a bit.
So there is nothing stopping something coming from nothing is the summary of this 10 proposition argument he makes.
I'm going to look into that. That sounds interesting. I don't think he's right. I mean, the closest we've come is, okay, so we've actually kind of created, but this is why I think this is one reason why, anyway, I think that we assume that it's pretty much impossible is because of what happens when we try. So there was a university, I don't remember
You're
which
talking about
one.
the Schwanger effect?
I'm not sure. It was in the last like 5 or 10 years, there was an experiment where they caused a pairing of
Yes.
particle antiparticles to emerge in a
Right.
vacuum. So something from nothing. However, the moment it did,
It's not the philosophical nothing, right?
well, yeah, it's still out of quantum. It's out of quantum
Right.
probability, but it's also what happens is because they're particle antiparticle pairings, they immediately annihilate one another.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. So,
and like
yeah.
for me, I'm a
Carrier's
fan of string theory.
Yeah. Carrier's argument is from an absolute or philosophical nothing. It has nothing to do with physics. It's a purely philosophical argument against a philosophical concept of nothing.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Yeah.
I struggle listening to a lot of Phil Bros. To me, like I think Brandon Sanderson, who's just a fiction writer, I think he said it best through the mouth of one of his characters. Philosophy, isn't that the art of saying nothing with as many words as possible? And I mean, I agree.
Good philosophy is not. Bad philosophy is. So yeah. Anyway, I've got another guest, Fen. Thanks for coming up. It was fun.
Yeah, sure.
And
Take care, bro.
I hope to talk to you again soon. Bye. All right. Folks, double tap that screen. Follow me. Do all those fun things. Send me gifts if you want. That would be nice. Only if you can afford it. Hemi, you are up next. Waiting for you to stop spinning. Hemi is spinning. Hope they're not getting.
And here I am.
Yeah, there you are. All right, Hemi, are you over 18?
I am.
Fantastic. What do you want to talk about today?
Oh, I just saw that you were on here. You and I know each other. We are both friends on Facebook, and we've hung around the same circles for several years now.
Oh, fantastic.
You don't know me by this name. You may possibly remember me as Frustrated Atheist, or on Twitter, King Frustrated.
I haven't been on Twitter in so long that I don't remember anybody I talked to on Twitter.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I know.
So
trust me,
I'm
I get it.
sorry.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah, no, we've talked several times. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we're friends on Facebook as well.
Yeah, probably.
But that's got my real name attached to it, and I don't ever use my real name ever anywhere else but Facebook.
I understand, and that is absolutely understandable in today's society. And if I could go back and use a different name, I would. But
yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but I saw that you were here, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Jim!" And I was like, I didn't know he was on the TikTok.
Yeah, I haven't been on. I mean, I've been watching for a long time, as I have not been producing content on TikTok, and I have not been as regular as I would like to start building, more and more people. So that's what I'm in the process of doing, to try and do more. I think it's more important now than it was, before January 20th. So.
Yeah, and TikTok seems to be the place where everybody's flocking to these days, and so
yeah,
it does get a lot more people involved.
Mm-hmm. And it's weird because as a creator, YouTube's got a much better pay schedule.
Oh yes, it does. It's got a better pay schedule, better everything. But like I think one of the things that YouTube has messed up on is the fact that that TikTok gets right is the fact that like this here, where you can pull somebody up who's just requesting up type of deal. YouTube never had that, and I doubt they'll ever implement something like that.
And that's sad because they really, really should. I think YouTube would take off with that, but they may not be because they don't want to strain their servers. Because I'm sure that with YouTube's volume, that there are environment considerations and performance considerations to doing it.
I mean, if you look at, like, for instance, like even a big company like Netflix, for instance, whenever it came to the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, like they had to have known that there was going to be a high level of traffic just for that fight alone, and they still experienced so many freaking problems just to keep it up and going.
Netflix is 100% on AWS. If they haven't, so they're 100% in the cloud. So if they had trouble, it means that really Amazon had trouble with that and wasn't able to expand fast enough. So yeah, but that's a load on anybody's infrastructure to do that.
Oh God, yes, because it had to have been millions of people who were trying to watch that fight.
Yeah, back in 2000, I was working for a company called Webcasts. And at the time, we had the opportunity to work with the WWF and to put their matches online live. And we were trying to figure out what the capacity was. And I was on the network engineering team who was never consulted on this until it was almost too late. And when they did, it was like, your infrastructure is not going to hold up, because here's 1% of the total population that watches the World Wrestling Federation, and you're not planning for that number. And they're like, but we're planning for double the largest webcast we've ever done. And it was like, nope. And they never did find out how many people actually hit the site. It crashed that badly.
Oh wow!
Twice, yeah. Could have been a serious moneymaker and put webcasts on the map had we been able to do that, but because they did not listen to the engineering guys, because we were telling them 6 to 8 months. Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like everything that happens wrong is like somebody didn't listen to the engineering people?
A lot of things are because people don't listen to engineering.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of it is like all the people, especially the people who have like years of experience. Like, there was one time I was working as a Boilermaker apprentice, and there's this guy who been running as a Boilermaker for like 30, 40, 50 years. Somebody came down with a plan saying, hey, yep, this is the plan. This is what we want. Dude just looked at the schematics and said, that's not going to work.
Right.
And he explained it. He's like, it's not going to work because of this here. He's like, well, it works in theory and on paper, so we're going to go ahead and try it. And so they tried it, and it did not work. And he came back to that guy and said, yeah, it didn't work. He's like, yeah, I told you it wasn't going to work.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to the difference between, people say, well, math proves this and math proves that. Well, yeah, it's okay that the math is good, but the math assumes that we know everything, and we may not. So.
Like you're developing plans, and like you may not even have taken into account like the space that you're working in. And so while the math may check out fine, there might be a space confinement issue that you didn't take into account.
Right.
Because the math will only work well if you can account for every teeny tiny aspect. And especially since apparently this guy was like fresh out of college type of guy, he's not going to have every single detail accounted for right off the top of his head. So it's like you're always going to end up coming up with an issue, and that's what happens.
Motorola, when they first put the Iridium satellites up, and I was working for them as a contractor, they thought, well, we're going to save money and time by putting solar panels that we use on our other satellites on this satellite. And the Iridium satellites are much smaller and have a lot less mass. So they put them up, and all of a sudden, the satellites start burning through their position-keeping fuel supplies very, very quickly. And it took Motorola a couple of minutes, I say minutes metaphorically, to figure it out. And the solar wind was catching the solar panels and blowing these satellites out of orbit, which is why their position thrusters were working so hard to keep them in place. It's stuff like that you can't. They did the math, and the math worked out, but what did they forget? Solar wind.
Yeah.
and the mass of the satellite. They just went, oh, we know these work on these satellites, therefore it'll work. And they forgot to make that, there's always something you're going to forget.
There's always somebody there's always that one guy who's been working it like 40, 50 years who just kind of goes, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing happened with, oh, you know what, Hemi? I have someone else who might actually be a Christian. So let me bring them up, and I will talk to you later.
All right. See you later, Jim.
All righty. Bye. All right, folks, double tap that screen, triple tap, quadruple, just tap from now on until your fingers fall off, if you would. That helps the stream. Follow me. And if you guys want to send me those little gifts and stuff, that would be nice too. All right. Coming up next is Cameron the Goat. I'm assuming that's how we pronounce it. Hey, Cameron.
Hello.
Are you over 18?
Oh, I didn't know it was over 18. But before you feel free to kick me, but can
ask your question, then I'll kick you and answer it when you're gone, right? I do not want to get into trouble.
Okay. How are you gonna say that there is no God but you exist? Like it would make sense.
There we go. I can answer that, and I'll answer that when I'm going to kick you and then answer it. All right. Thanks, Cameron. Okay. And do be over 18. I thought I had restricted the channel to that. So I exist because my biological parents had sex. Their biological parents had sex, evolution, and God's don't exist because, the omni-God doesn't exist because the problem of evil means he's logically impossible. That's about it. Oh, and you want to know why evolution got started? Well, that would be abiogenesis. We have no reason to conclude that any supernatural element is ever needed. Just the way it is. Folks, it is 4:00. I got to go do some other things real quick, and I will be back. When am I going to be done with this next little thing? Probably around 7:00. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Look for me on YouTube. My link tree is in my bio. And stay skeptical. I will talk to you guys so much later. Well, a couple hours, hopefully.